Good evening, race fans. Welcome to CRN's live coverage of the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series as we are here on the final race of the round of 12. Who will be the 12 moving on, or not the 12, who will be the 8 that are moving on to the round of 8 starting next week at Texas. It's going to be April Fools for some of these drivers, for at least 4 of them, thinking that they're going to be moving on here to Texas. So we need to find out who those 8 are going to be here tonight at Kentucky Speedway, as we're going to have a 75 lap race here on the 1.5 mile tri-oval here, and it's a beautiful track. It's nice and wide, but the biggest funkiness of Kentucky, we kind of always bring it up, is you can run down there on the apron on the front stretch, but it's a little weird how it comes back kind of into the line to head off into turn number 1. So you got to be real careful drifting back up on the track. Carl Hamworth joined in the booth once again by Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, you know Wednesdays 45 minutes isn't enough. We need to get some oval action here as well.
Yeah, you got to round things out, make things, smooth things over, just turn a couple lefts. But yeah, out here at Kentucky, yeah, you're right here. And obviously that coming after the start-finish line down there off the apron, inviting to go down there to, maybe make a pass. Some leagues allow it, some do not. I prefer not. Obviously, it closes the opportunity for some passing or some people to kind of take that risk to go down there. And what I've found is a lot of people, when they go down there, they think that once they're down there that the driver on the outside needs to let them up. Well, the answer is no, they don't. So you go down in the corner, you're down in the apron, and the next thing you know, you can wreck the field. So go down there at Weary if you guys are allowed tonight, for sure. That was something that they need to pay attention to. Almost done here with qualifying, and obviously here at Pit Road Speed Limit Racing for this season at least, we have a little tradition of getting the flags out and rendering honors to the countries that race here with us tonight. So we'll go ahead and empty this out. We'll get the flags rolling, and we'll play the anthems.
National anthems for United States and Canada. And now, even though the drivers are already out there rolling, we're going to do our typical here and get our third member of the booth. We got 4 members of the booth here tonight, as both my kids are going to be saying the most famous words in motorsports.
Driver, start your engines!
All right, that is time to go here tonight at Kentucky with my son Colton and my daughter Paisley as our 4-member booth here tonight, getting this thing ready and rolling. Qualifying obviously done and dusted. We can see, just to make sure. I think we got one more pace lap to get around here. So Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown of tonight's starting order?
You're trying to get them the show here tonight, right. But it doesn't look like SDK
actually,
wants to show them.
never mind. It looks like we're actually going to be getting going here, as well as a little bit of a bunch up here at the start of this thing. Not sure what's going on. I see a lot of dust out there on the track. Not sure if somebody blew up or what. There's a lot of dust on the track. Either way, not sure what's going on. If some of the fireworks on the infield or something like that were going up. But either way, fireworks on the track as we are racing here at Kentucky. What am I missing here, Jimmy? Is somebody smoking at the front? Do we have dirt tires on the track? What's going on out there?
Kentucky Derby. I don't know what's going on over here, but the 77 is gonna take that new Chili's machine out to the front here to lead this thing off, followed by Joshua Smith, and now Kyle Emerson moving into P number 3. But we have 75 laps here tonight, and tonight we will get around to the cars when we can. Tonight is a childhood cartoon night, so looking forward to seeing who's got what out there tonight. It's always interesting to see the liveries that the drivers bring here at Pit Road Speed Limit Racing. But a good race starting off so far, as we're now on lap number 2. A little bit of side-by-side racing throughout the pack.
Yeah, I don't like to root for cautions at any time, at any point, no matter what series we're broadcasting. But I'm almost kind of, wouldn't mind slowing things down here to take a look at some of these paint schemes out here tonight. But either way, a lot on the line here. Not just the paint schemes that these drivers are running out there for their favorite cartoons, but also, as we mentioned, the big elephant in the room being the playoffs, and there's only 8 spots that can move on to the next round, and these drivers certainly know what's on the line. If your name is Dylan, you're good to go. You're locked in. Dylan Emerson, Dylan Jacobs are the only 2 drivers that are locked in with their wins in the previous races, so they're only racing for maybe some bonus points for the round of 8. Everyone else that was in the top 12 has to get some points. Thomas O'Connor, pretty good shape, as he is plus 32 above the cut line. Harry Krantz in 4th, plus 20 above the cut line. Kyle Emerson plus 12. TJ Hanley plus 5. And then it gets a little bit tighter. You got Richard Covington, as you're looking at him right there out the front. He is only 7 points ahead of the cut line. William O'Connor, the last one above the bubble, 4 points out of the cut line, and then the ones below right now. Cody Brewer is 4 points back. Matthew Hake, 8 points back. Tiffany Ellis, 13 points back, and Cody Handler, 18 points back. So maybe for Cody Handler, you could maybe say he's kind of in a must-win situation, but realistically, he can still point his way into the round of 8. But win would make it a little bit easier for sure, but it would also get it really interesting to everyone else that's right there around the bubble, because somebody outside the bubble gets the win, it drops everyone down a spot and can put somebody that you thought was going to move on out of the running. But right now, Josh Duncan is the one that is leading this race. Kyle Emerson, Joshua Smith, Ron Millam, and Harry Krantz currently your top 5, with Dylan Emerson, Austin Smith, Cody Brewer, Dylan Jacobs, and Michael Garcia for your top 10.
Yeah, a lot of 25 cars out here tonight, so the field's still staying strong here at Pit Road Speed Limit Racing for your Wednesday night needs here at CRN, and always good to come out here and see these drivers tackle the tracks here at night, and keeps us busy on Wednesdays for sure. 8 laps in already of the 75. Joshua Duncan out to a nice lead already, a little over a second. And so sometimes when you get to these nice leads like this, you wonder, there has to be a little bit going through your mind, am I pushing too hard and will these drivers catch up to me? And obviously you'll like to see the battling behind you because you're by yourself. So hopefully it'll keep them down there, slow them up, make them burn up their tires. They have no opportunity to catch the leader. But some great battling here between the 11 and the 76. 76 touching the wall just ever so slightly.
That was a lot more slightly, Jimmy. It wasn't an Acme hammer or anything like that.
I mean,
actually, it's the Tom and Jerry machine right there. But yeah, that was a pretty good smack right there. For Kathy out there, I'm sure she would love to see Tiffany get the win out here tonight. It would definitely help Tiffany's chances to moving on through getting the win. But it's a long race. You got to really just settle in here. You can't think about points right from the rip. I know that's going to be on your mind all night of what am I going to do? What am I going to try and figure out a way to make it through this race? But you just kind of have to just settle into the groove in the first run here of the race and let the race come to you, because you never know if things could happen at the front and maybe a top 5 is good enough to move your way on. But definitely some good looking paint schemes out here. We mentioned the fact that if your name is Dylan, you're locked in. Well, if you have a paint scheme by Tiffany Ellis, you definitely have a good chance as well, because she's been painting a lot of winners here this season. Looks like Cody Brewer was some kind of an incident as he hits the black flag down into pit road. But I think I need to put a challenge out there to Tiffany Ellis. If we can bring up we'll take a look here first at what happened to Cody Brewer in the number 12. I'm not seeing that looks like some mechanical issues right there, as whether it's either a car or a wheel, not a car, a computer or a wheel having some issues, shot him down into pit lane. That's why he got the black flag, and certainly some hardware issues one way or another for Cody Brewer. And that's not going to help his chances, as he was only 4 points out of the bubble coming into tonight. But as I was mentioning, if we could show Josh Duncan on the screen, and given the fact that he's been running the Chili scheme for quite some time, I'm not sure who paints his cars, but if Tiffany happens to paint the cars there, we need those 7s to look like Chili's. I feel like you could do that. Just have 2 Chili's side by side and really spruce up that car.
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting a little bit of a throwback there with a Wrangler style color scheme, but being in Chile, so maybe in fashion, trying to give a shout out to the Wrangler machine. But 77 getting it done here right now, still out to a 1 second lead, and it's starting to kind of the lead is starting to come down just a little bit as the 11 of Harry Kronz is starting to chase him down. So maybe Josh Duncan burning tires up here a little bit earlier. The 91 Ron Millam starting up here towards the front here tonight as well. Up in P number 3, Dylan Emerson in 4th of the Nickelodeon machine. And then Joshua Smith running some Tom and Jerry. So I think some of the drivers of listening to some of the old school talk that we've had out there with the cartoons.
As they should educate themselves a little bit.
Obviously, Milwaukee tools, you can never go wrong with some handy tools around the house. Hendrick Carr, your Dylan Jacobs always rocking the 5. The Batmobile's out there, and the number 64 of Michael Garcia. Eli O'Quinn is going to be in the Ninjago. Not a show that I watched, but it's not super new. Tiffany Ellis out there with the Looney Tunes. Another Looney Tunes machine, Bugs Bunny and 70 Sam and a lot of other characters on there. Tasmanian Devil on the front. Thomas O'Connor out there with Enjoy the Farm. It looks like they're having some fun with some good old Reese's Oreos with a little bit of a kick on that car. Cody Handler out there with some rocket power. The Lightning McQueen machine back out there, and the number 21. Bernie Ray's out there in the number 27, and he is running T-Cat. Brian Roy out there, usually running the fancy Joker machine, but breaks out a nice woodside machine here tonight with Woody Woodpecker. Sully Denny out there with the THD design machine, and who was that? bombshell. Let's see, TJ Hanley out there as well, rocking his THT designs as normal. Matthew Hake out there with Recess, number 83. Kelly Ackern out there with some Flintstones. Hopefully he doesn't have to use his feet tonight.
He's running really fast right now.
Course Machine out there with Charlie Stafford and number 28. Kent Bice out there and then number 1. Trying to see if we can get a Oath of Devotion Paladin. Will O'Connor out there. Another Looney Tunes themed Samuel Adams. Bruce Spencer out there and then number 43. That's what I like, some Speed Racer.
Yes, there we go.
Kyle Emerson out there in the Nerds Machine, and Cody Brewer, I believe, is still in the Raptor, number 12. So all good paints out there tonight, and still a great race. I was able to go through the whole field and still stay green. So we're on lap 20 of 75. This thing's a flying by. Josh Duncan, his lead is starting to diminish, like we said, as the 11 of Harry Krantz chasing him down here, and not too far behind Ron Millen. Biggest mover of the race, though, is going to go right now to the number 21. So the that Lightning McQueen paint scheme starting to rise back to the top again, Carl.
I mean, an animated movie. Do you consider that a cartoon? I don't think it really matters to Richard Covington, because he's got other things on his mind. He wants to try and qualify for that round of 8, and he only came in 7 points ahead of that cut line. He knows that the Lightning McQueen paint scheme has been fast, and we said it so many times here on the broadcast. Doesn't matter how good you are or how bad you are, look fast, go fast, and he's been fast in that Lightning McQueen paint scheme. Tiffany Ellis special as that was definitely a nice little brush of the wall by Michael Garcia, but nobody walking away with a meatball. We've seen that wall get try to knock down a couple times, but we're staying this thing at green. Looks like Kyle Emerson in the 60 also had an issue back on lap number 14 as he was in and out of the pits, and he is now down a lap to the field. But everybody else, the other 23 drivers out there, are on the lead lap, and as Jimmy mentioned, doing a fantastic job here. Great start here to the field. You see the track map there on your screen. It's kind of spread out, it's spread out from basically start finish line to maybe the entry of turn 3. But considering we're 20 laps into this thing, that the whole field's still somewhat intact with each other, not spread out across the entire field, and it's providing some great racing. You can see it right here looking forward from the 20 of Kelly Ackern. You see he's kind of in the back of probably the biggest pack right here. I guess we would consider the battlefield right now, back further in the pack right now. But once again, I got to give a shout out to all the painters out there. I know we mentioned Tiffany Ellis a lot, but obviously TJ Hanley with his TH designs, always some great looking paints there as well, and all the painters out there, whether it's grabbing one from Trading Paints, which somebody had to create it. It's not like it's AI generated. I guess the design technically could be AI generated, but it doesn't actually create the paint for you. You still have to get in there and create the paint, and some of these paints definitely have taken quite some time to get put together, and some really good looking ones. I mean, just looking up at that Woody Woodpecker one right there is definitely a good looking paint scheme, as Cody Handler in the 19 up into the wall on the outside, and we may very well be looking at our first there it is, our first caution of the night, and we'll take a look back and see what happened.
We'll find out what happened to Brian Roy here tonight. Sorry to maybe have everybody giggle a little bit, but not too bad there. A little bit of side rubbing there with another car, and the best thing to do is just kind of start locking up, able to keep it out of that pit lane and avoiding that elusive black flag. But looks like, come on, get her back going again. There's the 82 rolling forward again, and hopefully everything is good to go. But first caution of the night only comes here on lap number 25, so already a third into this race before anything were to happen. I'm sure drivers are going to hit up pit lane and take some fresh tires, top off with some fuel. great start to the race so far, and just you know, just a little oops of getting together, a little bit of a racing incident, but yeah, not a bad one here, as we will rack them back up, rack them and stack them, and get everything, all the drivers back together again. See if some of those drivers that have made their way through the field can continue to their march, or help them with their march to the front. Richard Covington Jr. obviously up 12 spots. Matthew Hake up 10 spots. Sully Denny's up 9 spots. TJ Hanley up 8 spots. So a few drivers making their way through the field. Some of the drivers following quite a ways, as Dylan Emerson in the 6 has found his way towards the back, along with Kyle Emerson and Cody Brewer. So you know, that's why a lot of people have gained a lot of green on my chart at the moment, but everybody's gonna come in with the exception of Dylan Emerson. It's too late, buddy, now, and now you got, I was waiting for somebody to come around, so probably just waiting to hopefully get back on that lead lap before he can come around and come in himself. So
well, he was actually just in the pits, right? Like he was in the pits right when this caution came out. So unfortunately, I think he got caught just at the wrong spot, at the wrong time, and that's why he's I believe going to remain a lap down. But certainly, this is a nice little help for the 77 of Josh Duncan, hoping that he can get back out in the lead here in that number 77 Chili's machine, because I think he was running out of chips and salsa. And by that I mean he was running out of grip at the front. Maybe used up a little bit much here. Good battle off of pit road, and the 11 of Harry Cron's going to pick up a few positions here, and it looks like trying to see, it looks like everybody gets out of there. Maybe one black flag, and that's for Cody Brewer. I think he came down when pit road was closed. So, and actually no, because he's coming back out. No, he's in right now, coming to serve his penalty. But it is Harry Cron's now in second, Ron Millam in third, Austin Smith in fourth, Joshua Smith in fifth, Dylan Jacobs sixth place, Thomas O'Connor, Eli O'Quinn, Richard Covington Jr., TJ Hanley for your top 10. Trying to see where it looks like Dylan Emerson is dead last right now in the number 6. Not sure what happened to him, but again, already locked into to the second round, so doesn't have to worry about that. But it is it was a great start here for the field. Hopefully they can get right back to that racing action once we get rolling here again on green, because we're already coming up on lap number 30. I mean, it's flown by here, Jimmy. It's a lot of green flag racing here in the beginning, so Kentucky doing a pretty good job here for the last race of the round of 12.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. You want to see the drivers get out here and compete, and just showing the couldn't put a word on the Oath of the Devotion vehicle, but as Emma pointed out, it is D&D. So back on the trunk, you can see the Dungeons and Dragons on the rear trunk lid. So I did not catch that, so just wanted to bring that back up on the screen one more time here, as I'm sure we'll see the one out there trying to get to the front here tonight, as he's currently back in Pete number 22, and not the place he wants to be, but looking good so far right now. Josh Duncan is going to lead this thing back down to the start here again tonight. The lights are starting to come out, as you see the pace car lights on the track, and going to start this thing off one more time from the pole. Harry Krantz will be on the outside this time, with Ron Millam and Austin Smith on row number 2.
Well, it certainly looks like maybe Barry rooting for Tiffany Ellis out there as well, since he had a Roadrunner, according to the chat there. Exactly. But either way, it's time to head back to the Geico restart zone. It's time to get back on the loud pedals here one more time, as the 77 is going to do just that. Duncan back out in front, leading the way here. Harry Krantz looks like he's got an avenue to move down if he wants to. In second place, battle for third between the 91 and 33 heading into 1.
Yeah, just overall good start here for the field as everybody gets going here. Oh,
you had to say something, and big incident here on the back, and still wrecking as Woody gets pecked here one more time. And the 82 of Brian Roy going to go sliding around there with the 76 of Joshua Smith. Maybe getting the worst of it here, as it looks like he just got loose by himself. Some cold tires coming off of the corner. Snaps right in front of the 18. Nothing O'Connor could do on that one except send Tom and Jerry both spinning around. The 72, great avoiding action right there, but it's the 76 here that is going to bring out our second caution here of the night.
Yeah, there's a few drivers getting involved here up in the wall there, and it's the who is that? Oh, it's number 82 again, unfortunately. And the 20, Kelly Akron. Oh, wow, Speed Racer.
Yeah, I thought Speed Racer had a button to jump over things. Apparently didn't hit the button on that one. And unfortunately, there's going to be some major damage there to the 43 of Bruce Spencer. He's in the pits already. Quite a few cars here getting banged up pretty good here on the second caution of the night.
Yeah, I guess I spoke too soon, but either way, I still think they're doing a fantastic job. Just, obviously some heavy racing and, cold tires, again, catching some people off guard. And we've talked about tires throughout the season and the year and leagues, and it's still, to this day, one of the tougher parts of the race, because you want to go fast. Everybody's together. You're trying to make up the most positions. Who's, is going to lay it out on the line, the most and take the biggest gamble to try to get some few positions. And sometimes if you just don't judge it right and you don't have that fidelity in your equipment to feel when the car really starts to brake, you can't catch it. And these cars don't catch. You've seen the 76 go for a ride, and a lot of drivers did a fantastic job of avoiding, but to lose it and not be able to catch it is just, sometimes you think you'd be able to just a little bit easier, but 76 down in the pits here, getting some damage fixed. I don't think it was an immediate fix, so saving that fast repair. I did see the bumper kind of pop out, so that's a good sign there for the 76. Hopefully he can get back out on the track and get moving back towards the front. But Joshua Smith's going to have some long work as the field's starting to come around here. Josh Duncan's still out front with Harry Krantz. They are single file, so they will double up this time by for one more pace lap.
I thank everybody out there for tuning in tonight to this race, and maybe if you tune into the previous one as well for CSRL. But either way, hit that like and subscribe, that thumbs up. Jimmy loves that thumbs up, but it's also a chance for the video here to get some love in the YouTube algorithm and kind of shoot up there if somebody's looking for next gen, somebody's looking for Kentucky, somebody's looking for iRacing, any kind of keywords like that. If it's got a lot of thumbs up on the video, is a better chance of showing up high on somebody's suggested list. So it's not just that it helps us out, it really helps out Pit Road Speed Limit probably as much, if not more, than helping us out. So help your fellow your friends out there, your family, whoever it is out there you're watching, and let us know who you're watching as well, so we can try and get them some camera love out there on the track, as we're going to get this thing back underway here on lap number 33. We're going to start lap number 44 when we do. Out front, it is still Josh Duncan showing the way in that 77, Harry Krantz in second, Ron Millam, Austin Smith on row number 2, Dylan Jacobs, Richard Covington row number 3, and you got TJ Hanley, Eli O'Quinn, Michael Garcia, Matthew Hake rounding out that top 10. Tiffany Ellis just staying right outside that top 10 in 11th. Cody Handler, Cody Brewer, Bernie Reyes, and Kent Bice, your top 15, as the pace car lights are out, making that big old left-hand turn into pit lane. It'll be in control once again by the 77 as we head back to the Geico restart zone.
Yeah, we'll take a ride on board with the number 1 here back in P number 15 to see what it's like to kind of start mid-pack here. It's a great start by everybody in front of Kent, heading down into turn number 1, and drivers immediately trying to go to their preferred line and get that run down into 1, but tires are still not warmed up, and you see Kent being a little more cautious than some of the others. He's still gonna tag the wall just a little bit, it's just a unique entry. Start getting on the throttle maybe a little too early, ended up pushing out to the wall, and still gonna come back here and get some of those spots back. And you can see right here going down the front stretch, how inviting it is to go right here to kind of cut some of the track off, and I'm sure we'll see it later on. I've seen it a little bit earlier on. Not going down there too far, but kind of staying up there. See somebody blinking up there, and that's always a not a good sign there. But hopping on board with Richard Covington Jr. up 15 spots now, sitting in P number 6 as he looks forward on a few of these drivers. I do believe it's the number 33 of Austin Smith blinking in and out a little bit, just a little here and there tonight here at Kentucky. And at least the dust has settled, Carl. I don't see anything else flying around here today.
I still would love to know what happened there. Maybe somebody was driving through the grass and got their tires dirty on the front stretch. But it took a while. Whatever they were doing, it took a while to get that dust off and clear. I mean, it was at the point where I was looking to see who blew their engine on the start of this race, because it was there for quite some time, and it looked like it was brown smoke, like it was dust, but you never know. Sometimes it could be the engine. But
maybe it was always there. You just now your computer's up to snuff.
Yeah,
now
exactly. I didn't realize Kentucky had a dust line through the middle of it. I know there was a dirt version of Kentucky Speedway, but either way, we are off and running here once again. Josh Duncan in the lead here as we're about to complete 37 laps on the track. And Jimmy, we're halfway. You know what that means. It's time for a little Love to Hear It.
A little Love to Hear It here tonight at Kentucky with the lead and drivers of Pit Road Speed Limit Racing.
just about to have a battle for the lead side by side. The 77 of Josh Duncan and 33 of Austin Smith. Caution on the Speedway. You see it right there. A little bit of a mix-up between the 24, 19, and 76. The 19 of Handler into the back of the 76. And if they would have stayed straight like that on the wall, we wouldn't have had a caution. But you see right there the overcorrection by the 76 of Joshua Smith. And Tom and Jerry are going to go spin in here one more time, and we're going to have our third caution here of the night. But a pretty interesting timing for this caution because some of the drivers made some early pit stops. Not going to pay off right now because now you'll be able to come in, take your last pit stop of the night and get back going. Not sure what's going on right now as some of the drivers may be stopping on the track. I see a lot of drivers crashing. So yeah, not sure what's going on at the back of the pack here, but either way, going to be the last pit stop of the race, unless we have some kind of a late race caution, late race kerfuffle here. But this will be the very last pit stop of tonight's race. 77 leads them down into pit lane. The 33 would love to get the jump on him out of the pit boxes here, but we should have, I believe, 20 cars back on the lead lap. We'll see if Sully Denny gets the waiver right to get back on the lead lap. But either way, it's been dominated here tonight by Josh Duncan. Maybe finally starting to see a chink in the armor there late in the run. But he is going to win the battle off of pit road here again. He's going to lead just ahead of Austin Smith, Richard Covington Jr., Dylan Jacobs, Harry Krantz. You're in top 5. Looks like Dylan Jacobs dropping back here a few positions. Not sure what happened. We'll see if he gains those positions back. But we'll get our running order before we get this thing back to green. But we're under 20 laps to go. It's just about go time here at Kentucky, Jimmy.
Just about as we get down underneath that 20 laps, and they've been nothing but fantastic driving here tonight at Kentucky, and just some heavy racing here and there, and finally, somebody just makes a slight mistake, and that's usually when the caution comes out. But we've got 19 laps to go, and we'll go ahead and get the rundown here. As you can see on the tower here, right now it is going to be Josh Duncan in first right now over Austin Smith and Richard Covington Jr. So Austin wasn't able to quite get that pass made before the caution came out. Harry Krantz is in 4th. Eli Quinn is up there in 5th. Ron Millam in 6th, Charlie Stafford in 7th, Michael Garcia up there in 8th, TJ Hanley and Matthew Hayford 9th and 10th, Thomas O'Connor in 11th, Tiffany Ellis in 12th, Brian Roy in 13th, Kent Bice up there in 14th, Cody Hamlin 15th, Will O'Connor in 16th, Kelly Akron back there in 17th, and you have Joshua Smith, Dylan Jacobs all the way back to 19th, Dylan Emerson in 20th, Sully Denny back there in 21st, Bernie Reyes in 22nd, Kyle Emerson in 23rd, Cody Brewer and Bruce Spencer for your 25 car field here.
See who's got the hot shoe for the last race of the round of 12. Again, 8 spots are all that is on the line, and technically 6 because both the Dylans have locked themselves in, that being Dylan Emerson and Dylan Jacobs already locked into the round of 8. So only 6 more spots remain. Will somebody win their way in? Will everyone point their way in? We're going to find out here in less than 20 laps at this point. It's going to be Josh Duncan still leading the way. It seems like he's been a tough nut to crack here tonight, but maybe again some chinks in the armor here with Austin Smith having a go at him on the end of that run. But pace car is in. It's time to head back to the restart zone one more time. Back on the loud pedals of 77 more race again here in Kentucky.
Yeah, away they go here to start the final leg of this race here as they work their way down to turn number 1, the 77 back out front where he's been all night with the 21 of Richard Covington Jr. diving down to the inside, getting a run on the number 33 and the 11 to try to take over at Pete. Number 2 has the pass made. The 11 of Harry Krantz right up the back end there of the 21 to kind of push him out to the lead, but still too wide behind second place there as the cars continue to work their way around the front stretch, around that small deal, going 3 wide.
It is definitely go time here at Kentucky as we round off into the final 15 laps. The big moment there for the 28. I don't know how there wasn't a caution and incident for that right there. What a save by the 28 of Charlie Stafford, almost collecting Cody Handler in the process. He's going to lose a ton of positions right now, and that is not what he wanted for his playoff hopes. But it's been a long uphill battle for the 19 here all night. Up at the front, it is Josh Duncan stretching out his lead here once again. You don't really want to give him the short run because in the short run, he definitely had some speed on everybody. And it looks like he does here once again, out to about a 4, almost 5/10 of a second lead. Looking back there at Richard Covington Jr., certainly the Lightning McQueen paint scheme, Jimmy, is looking fast here once again. He won with it early on in the season. Took off the paint scheme. Did not do well at all. It's back on here tonight. He knows what's on the line, and he's trying to get that number 21 back to victory lane.
Yeah, 21 has come through the field quite a ways as well. Up 19 spots. Biggest mover of the race. Almost matched by Matthew Hake back here. And P number 8 up 17 spots. So few drivers doing really well here tonight, getting their cars up their front, some starting well and even running still well. Josh Duncan, trying to get it done from the pole here tonight. It seems like an uphill battle, even though you're the fastest car for qualifying. You're not always the best car out there, but the 77's got the Kentucky number here tonight. Ron Millum is sitting in 5th, having a fantastic run there, and number 91, and Top Golf Machine trying to put another great run in here tonight, running in that 5th spot.
I want to thank everyone out there again for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe to get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer, as we got one more race for the week, as we got the Virtual Velocity Racing Xfinity Series, and they are going to be heading to Martinsville tomorrow night. So we'll see what they can do with a little short track action. It's certainly not a favorite for us, either on the track or even in the booth. There's another great save there from the 28 of Charlie Stafford, but we'll see what Virtual Velocity Racing can do. Either way, all we have to do is just get through Martinsville, because Michigan lays in wait on April 2nd, and we love us some Michigan for sure. But for these drivers here at Pit Road Speed Limit Racing, they also will be actually, sorry, I'm looking at the playoff round of 12. They're going to be heading to Texas next week for the first race in the round of 8 before they head to Las Vegas and Kansas, and then the championship finale going to be on April 22nd at Homestead, Miami. But we got quite a ways yet to go until we get there. 4 more races after this one is done, and we're not done with this one just yet. And I don't think that lead and win is done just yet either, because Richard Covington Jr. has got that 21 hooked up pretty nicely right now. He is well within the drafting range, well within the toe of that 77. And I think he's got something maybe for Josh Duncan before this thing is over. Had to start way back there in 21st position, I believe. As I'll get a double check on it right now, but I believe he did have to, he did have penalty to start the race here. He was one of the drivers that could not qualify for the race. That's why he started back there in his car number matching at 21st position. But he's got the dial cranked up right now to 11, and he is running down this 77. But the laps are ticking down, as we are down to 8 laps remaining here at Kentucky. A lot on the line here, but I gotta say, Jimmy, with everything that's on the line as we get to close, and maybe a little rubbing is racing right there, with so much on the line and much close racing and touching and pushing and moving and everything else. The fact that we've only had 3 cautions here tonight, I think, is a great shot in the arm to these drivers.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing 2 wide for a majority of the race throughout the pack, and obviously some even 3 wide action here, and the laps are ticking away. And obviously it's, get your best finish, and and hopefully hope for the best, and you make it into the next round of playoffs if you're you had that initial top 12. So things are kind of all worked themselves out. Sometimes you get to this point and it's as high as you can get for the season. But making that first round is always a positive, and if you keep going, they get yourself the opportunity to win the championship at the end. That's what you're ultimately going for. But either way, I mean, I think the drivers here, not only great paint schemes, but great driving. They're seeing some great avoidance and some great passes here tonight, and obviously Josh Duncan trying to kind of hold off that number 21, trying to secure maybe a spot here, in his chase for a championship, but doing a great job at the moment. But the 21 is knocking on the door.
Well, this is the kind of the troublesome spot here, as Josh Duncan was one of the few cars, or one of the first cars left out of the playoffs, just didn't make it on points. He's got nothing to lose right now. He's looking to try and get some wins to finish off the season, have a better taste in his mouth to send him off into to next season. Richard Covington Jr. Is in good shape right now. He doesn't technically need to win. He was ahead of the bubble by 7 coming in, so he can settle down right now in second place and finish this off. But I'm sure he'd like to get that win to get him some bonus points to head into that round of 8 as well. Meanwhile, Harry Krantz right behind him in third place. He is well on his way to the next round as well. 20 points ahead of the cut line coming in. So again, doesn't need to win either. But the bonus points, sometimes lure you in here a little bit. Eli O'Quinn, not a part of the mix here for the playoffs. So him, Michael Garcia, Austin Smith, for the next 3 drivers there, nothing to lose on their plates as well. Ron Millam in the 91, you can say the same thing. And another one that was just outside the bubble before we headed to the playoffs here. Thomas O'Connor is 32 points ahead coming in here tonight. So unless he finished dead last and everything kind of worked out of his favor, he was going to be locked into the next round. So looking very well here for the 18. Matthew Hake in in 9th place, came in 8 points below the cut line. So be real interesting to see how this thing plays out, but I think maybe a little too late here for the 83. Brian Roy, your final spot in the top 10, just having a pretty good race. But right now we got to turn our eyes back to the front, because it's no longer just a 2-car breakaway. The rest of the field is coming as well. But they better do it quick, because white flag is in the air. 1 more lap to go. Just a couple more chances for that 21 to get to the inside of the 77, doing everything he can. Great run through 1 and 2. He's going to be close to the back bumper. Not close enough to send it to the inside. He's going to look to the outside here, try and get a better run off the corner. Not going to happen, though. Josh Duncan was dominant all night, and he runs that dominance right to victory lane. Your winner here at Kentucky, Josh Duncan in the 77. Richard Covington Jr. coming home in second. Harry Krantz, Eli O'Quinn, Michael Garcia, your top 5. Austin Smith, Ron Millam, Thomas O'Connor, Matthew Hake, and Brian Roy rounding out your top 10. Great run, great finish here at the end. We'll see if we can get a rundown of the points, see who's made it, who's on the outside looking in. Certainly for Kyle Emerson, I'm guessing right now is the time to start sweating here a little bit. He came in 16 points ahead of the cut line, finishes way back there in 21st position. TJ Hanley, great bounce back here, as it's been kind of an up and down race for the 8. He finishes in 11th. Should be good enough, as he came in 15 points out of the cut line. William O'Connor came in 4 points ahead of the cut line, finished in 18th. So it'll be real interesting to see who those 8 drivers are. But once again, thank you for tuning in here tonight. We'll get some interviews here in a moment. But Jimmy, again, I got to send a congratulations to all the drivers out here with this much on the line with the final race of the first round of the playoffs. The fact that we only had 3 cautions here tonight with all the racing that went on, I think it was a great job.
Yeah, and that's what obviously racing, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to make a mistake, Nobody's out here is, I can't say nobody, but most people out here are not professionals. And you try to do your best and make smart decisions. And, it's kind of what it takes for most of the season is, smart decision, putting your car in the right spot, the right time, you know, hitting your pit entries and all that stuff that you need to do throughout the season. But Pit Road Speed Limit Racing has done that yet again here tonight at Kentucky for the end of this round here, and obviously we'll get some drivers moving forward, and I'm sure we'll get a list out to everybody. And if we don't get it here tonight, I'm sure we'll be able to find maybe those results over at the CoreRacingLeague.com webpage over there. We do usually carry the results and the point standings when they're updated. So, but either way, if you know, or go over to the Discord here for Pit Road Speed Limit Racing as well. But your winner tonight is going to be Josh Duncan with Richard Covington Jr. in the second, with Harry Krantz for your podium winners here tonight. We'll talk to them here shortly. Eli O'Quinn in fourth, with Michael Garcia in fifth, Austin Smith, Ron Millam, Thomas O'Connor, Matthew Haig, Brian Roy for your top 10. And 11th is going to be TJ Hanley, Joshua Smith, Tiffany Ellis in 13th, Dylan Emerson, Kent Bice, Sully Denny, Charlie Stafford, Will O'Connor for your top 18. And yes, we have another page here tonight, as 19th position is going to be the likes of the 5 of Dylan Jacobs, then Kelly Akron, Kyle Emerson, Cody Handler, Cody Bruder, Bruce Spencer, and Bernie Reyes Jr. for your 25 drivers here tonight.
Time to get to our interviews here for the top 3, and we're going to start with our third place finisher here tonight. It's going to be the 11 of Harry Krantz. Harry, you had the 11 up there late. Maybe you know, had a chance if things worked out your way to try and grab the win here tonight, but ultimately you came in with a little bit of a buffer in the point standings, 20 points ahead of the bubble. I'm guessing, you know, as the laps kind of winded down there, you like that you were reeling them in, but in the same case, you're like, you know what, I don't mind just finishing top 3.
Yeah, well, first thing, I hit the wall because I didn't represent my middle name, Dylan. This was my win. If that, no, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, I did hit the wall, and I forget what lap it was, but I had horrible wheel damage, and like through turns 3 and 4, my wheel was 90 degrees, which that's a no-go. It put a lot of strain on my left shoulder, but thankfully we had a caution because we had a caution just about every time we needed to pit for fuel, which was pretty funny. So I was able to benefit off that, use my fast repair, but I just was not able to get myself up to the top 3. Trust me, I wanted to make every inch I possibly could to catch up to Josh and Richard, but I just couldn't get it done. But yeah, like you said, I was like, I guess we could settle for 3rd. I think I was also the halfway leader, so I think I got an extra playoff point off it. But yeah, that was a fun race.
Yeah, it worked out pretty nicely here for you at the end. Not for the win, but you get yourself a podium, carry a bonus point, and maybe a little momentum into the playoffs as you guys start at Texas next week. What do you feel like the 11's got for Texas?
Just keep an eye on them. That's all I'm gonna say. Just keep an eye on that 11. We'll be in a different scheme for this round, but.
I was going to say, well, we'll see if that 11 gets progressively faster, but I guess we'll see what that paint scheme gets progressively changed to. But either way, congrats on the podium here tonight. Congrats on being one of the final 8. Before we let you go here tonight, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
First off, always going to give a shout out to my parents, my girlfriend, always supporting me. And I'd like to give a shout out to Josh. Bro pulled off the win. He put in so much practice. So I know he wanted this one so bad, and he did it, and I'm so happy for him. Yeah, props to him. Props to you guys for the race control and the broadcast now. You guys know what you're doing. You guys got it. So props to you guys, and yeah.
We certainly appreciate that, and I always appreciate the shout-outs. Congrats again on the top 3, but it's time to move on to the next round. I guess move on to the next paint scheme as well, and we'll see how fast it is for you at Texas.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not too sure what we're running yet, but I'll figure out something.
All right, buddy. That is your third place finisher here tonight, the 11 of Harry Krantz, one of your 8 drivers. And before we move on here, Jimmy, we're going to give a rundown of those 8 drivers here real quick. Dylan Emerson, as we mentioned, is going to be moving on. Thomas O'Connor also moving on. Dylan Jacobs moving on. Harry Krantz was your 4th driver moving on. Richard Covington Jr. runs that second place tonight. Here, we'll get him in for an interview in a second. He is your 5th driver. TJ Hanley, your 6th driver. Kyle Emerson is your 7th driver, as he will make it through the 8th and final spot in the playoffs by a mere 1 point difference. Is going to go to Matthew Hake, as he is going to be your 8th driver here in the points. 1 point behind is going to be William O'Connor. Another 8 points back. Tiffany Ellis, Cody Brewer, and Cody Handler not going to make the round of 8. I guess as much as you want to be named Dylan, you don't want to be named Cody finishing at the back there. But let's go ahead and keep it going with the interviews here tonight. And Jimmy, second place is just good enough here tonight for the 21 of Richard Covington.
Hey,
Yes,
Rich.
sir.
Hey, it's Jimmy Carl up in the booth. Good to get you back up here to give you to chat with you here a little bit, as you were really at a disadvantage here for starting tonight, as you came from the back of the field all the way up to P number 2. So climbing 19 positions here tonight and almost getting around that number 77, Josh Duncan, that dominated here for pretty much the entirety of the race. But you guys are out there as a league, and you have some great races side by side. Only a few cautions here tonight, but second place is good enough. You're 5th in the points overall heading into the next round of 8. Texas is on the horizon, so give us a little rundown of your race here tonight, and what's your plans on for the next couple races here as you guys close down to that final championship.
Well, I'm gonna start out by saying the only practice I had for this was like half a practice, and then the practice race we had right before this, I spun out during the half practicing, so I didn't even get to do that one. But yeah, it was just really just trying to work my way through the field, let everybody burn their stuff off and get low on fuel and start pitting and just drive around them.
Well, you did just that, and you made your way to the front. Now, obviously, Texas next up on the list, and with the next round of races for before you head off into the final series, the final few races. What's your chances next week of possibly getting that 21, the Lightning McQueen, to that top spot next week?
I'm gonna say there's a 50-50 shot that I either get up there in the top 5 or I wreck trying.
So a little bit of checkers or wreckers action possibly for next week. It's great to see you up here. Good drive through the field here tonight. Not I guess getting the spin out of the way earlier on here tonight. So congratulations there for the second place finish, and most of all, give you some time for any shouts you might have in at number 21.
Always main shout out is Tiffany for making the paint scheme. Mom, Dad, they're watching. You guys for throwing on a awesome broadcast every week. Cody for the races, and all the racers. They did good tonight.
Everybody showed what they had, and support in pit road speed limit racing here tonight for sure. So again, congratulations on your second place finish. Thank you for the shout outs. We'll let you go celebrate this one with your friends and family.
Yes, sir.
That's your second place finisher here tonight, the 21 of Richard Covington Jr., one of your 8 drivers. Final, well, not the final, because we're going to get one more interview after this as well, but Joshua Duncan is your winner here tonight in the 77. And man, Joshua, there wasn't too much that you were doing wrong here tonight, and I guess cautions maybe helped you out very well, because that second caution there is the second or third caution when you were just about to be doing battling with the 33 came out just in the nick of time, and you must have been just a smidge ahead at the time in scoring line to keep you in the lead. But that might right there might have been the winning move of the race for you.
Yeah, I honestly thought he was past me. Like I have triples, and he was beside me to where I thought he was in the lead, and I was like, well, there it goes. And I think prior to that, I think Harry led like one lap 1 or 2 laps. And then and I really thought I was going to lose it to Harry, which is fine. Harry's basically a teammate of mine. So we were already talking strategy anyway. So I was like, well, if it's us, let's go.
I mean, it looked like that Chili's machine was on fire here tonight, and I mean, especially in the early runs, it seemed like short run speed, you were able to really kind of gap the field, especially on that first run. The last run there, maybe not as much because I think you maybe found a little competition there with Richard Covington, starting right there in second. But it seemed like on the short run you were really good. But what was it? Maybe the tires kind of wearing out a little bit in the long run.
Oh, without a doubt, I was driving it hard. It did a little bit, and this track's interesting. You find all kinds of interesting guides for this. Some people talk about shifting, some people don't. When the tire wear got low enough, I started shifting in 3 and 4 to get it to point the nose where I wanted to. And I think that's what kept me in front of Richard, honestly, because he was talking about how tight it would get and how it wouldn't return to me in the waiting room. So I think there was just enough to kind of keep him in front of me. And I mean, there was some fast groups, and we do some practice races, and it was the fast cars. It's hard to pass. Like you really got to buy your spots. So I was grateful to spend most of my time out front, not have to worry about that, use up all that clean air.
Yeah, it seemed like the track was very racy here tonight. There was a lot of 2-3 wide racing. I know you may have not been a part of hardly any of that, but I mean the fact that there was so much on the line here tonight for a lot of the drivers out there. I mean, 3 cautions here tonight is a great drive for all you guys out there.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I love me a mile and a half. These are always so fun. As you know, we talked last week on a podium as well. So, and there's a few more left. So these are fun. These can create some pretty awesome racing.
I was going to say you're not done yet. I mean, you got a mile and a half next week, mile and a half after that, mile and a half after that, and I think Miami's a mile and a half also. So
it's close to it, I always say, and it's a fun track. I love it. That's another one of them top lip tracks where I like being up high, carry all the speed. So.
Well, you weren't able to get yourself into the playoffs here, unfortunately, but doesn't mean you can't finish out this season with a bang, and you're doing pretty well here with the win tonight. So congrats again from us up here in the booth. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Big thanks to all the people that watch. I love it. I already got a couple of text messages, so that one feels good. All my teammates there, man, we had a blast tonight racing. And it was a couple of times we were in there talking about how awesome we were having, how of a time we were having. Very thankful for this league in general, and thankful for you gentlemen. I absolutely love these broadcasts, and I always share them where I can because I am so proud to be in a race you guys are broadcasting. So thank you guys very much for what you do.
Well, we appreciate that for sure, and it's definitely fun putting all these broadcasts on for all you racers out there as well. So, congrats again on the win. We'll see if you can go to another mile and a half next week at Texas and get another dub.
Ooh, Texas, that's right. You look for me there. We might be talking again.
All right, buddy. We'll let you go celebrate this one. See you next week at Texas. That is your winner here, the 77 of Josh Duncan. We're going to get one more driver in here that may be just a little bit excited. And maybe class wasn't in session tonight. It was time for a little recess. And I mean, looking at the points, to quote TJ, it was tender here at the end with Matthew Hake, as he is going to get the final spot in the playoffs by 1 point. Matthew, how excited were you to look at that point standings after you finish it up there and you see the 83 by 1 point moving on?
Yeah, I was a little worried until I updated. I was like, wow, 1 point. Kind of sucked that I had to bump my own teammate out by the 1 point, but that's how racing goes.
Yeah, it was. I knew it was going to be pretty tight there with how kind of everything played out and how everything finished, and I thought even Kyle Emerson was going to be a little closer to you guys than the 8 points that he ended up being ahead of you at the end. But it was a good race for all the drivers out here tonight, and the fact that there was only 3 cautions out there, it made it maybe a little bit more stressful for a lot of you drivers out there, and especially with you having to start back there shotgun on the field. That hadn't it couldn't have felt too good.
Yeah, it didn't, but I was just patient trying to get through there. I did make up 10 spots before the first caution, so I was happy about that one. And I just slowly moved up towards the end, I kind of burned up my tire and lost the 2 spots to Thomas, and I forgot who the other one was, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We talk about that a lot of times. Drivers below the bubble coming into that final race think that they're kind of in a must-win situation, and sometimes a top 5 is good enough for you. Here, you're able to get a top 10 out of it and finish in 9th, and that's good enough to get you to move on. So, congrats again on moving on and being the final 8th driver in the round of 8. So, we'll wish you luck on the rest of the journey here to the championship. But before we let you go here tonight, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
All the rest of the drivers. It was a lot of fun, and all the people still watching it. We thank you for watching, and hope we put on a good show for you guys.
It was certainly a good show for us. We enjoyed it. We'll let you go celebrate the move on to the round of 8. We'll see you next week at Texas.
Yep. See you next week.
That is the driver of the 83. Matthew Hake, as he was able to just get it done, unfortunately, over his teammate William O'Connor by 1 point. But once again, a rundown of the drivers in your final 8. Dylan Emerson, Thomas O'Connor, Dylan Jacobs, Harry Krantz, Richard Covington, TJ Hanley, Kyle Emerson, and Matthew Hake. They are going to start their battling next week at Texas before they head on to Las Vegas and Kansas for the round of 8. And then it'll be whittled down to 4 drivers for the championship round at Miami. But you're going to have to keep tuning in here to CRN if you want to see how it all transpires the rest of the season. That's going to do it for myself and Jimmy from the Kentucky Speedway. We'll see you at the track.